What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today, I want to talk about the solidarity that we need to show as global Africans. We need to make our voices heard to the masses, to the powers that be, that we, Africans, are watching them, that we're paying attention to the things that they're doing on the international stage. Because this is the thing, if you guys don't think that the Western powers are not gauging how the African populations in their respective countries are going to react to any type of Western aggression in Africa, you guys are sadly mistaken. You guys don't know how shit really works. All right, right now, white people, right, the ones that's in charge, are trying to gauge what would happen if a white imperial power goes into Africa and does any type of aggressive act towards Africans. Trust and believe, because here's the thing. France, America, UK, all the European countries, if you look at their militaries, there's a bunch of Africans in the military. Look at the United States Marine Corps, United States Army, United States Air Force. There's a bunch of Africans from those countries and various other countries and African Americans who are sympathetic with their homeland. There is a history that they know that we know. They know that we're sitting on pins and needles. They know that we're at a critical point to where we're not gonna take it anymore. You understand? Because we're a new generation, right? So all the powers that be are sitting around in think tanks thinking, man, if France actually decides to do anything aggressive, shit's going to hell in a handbag. Because the thing is, European nations know what's happening. They see the demographic change, right? They know we're the global majority. We are global south. They know that because of their population, because of their mismanagement of the power that they had as they've been in charge, because of how things go, they know that they're coming to a decline. They're coming to a point where now they have to compete evenly with these other international organizations and Africa. They're going to have to put some respect on their name, right? But they're also losing the resources that they've been spoiled, by their forefathers who stole from us. The whole world knows. And France being one of the main progenitors. Everybody hates France. America hates France. French people hate France. Africans hate France. There is a logical reason why everybody hates France in Africa. They've earned it. They deserve the sentiment that they have, right? Because unlike the other Western powers like Denmark, Britain, America, Italy, they haven't quite turned the tide or changed their position, over the decades of supposedly helping, right? Supposedly humanitarian aid. Supposedly doing things beneficial to the Africans. We're not stupid. It's been, 60-something years? All this Western aid that they tout that they're doing for us, but yet we look at these countries where all this Western aid goes to and nothing happens, it just gets worse. We're not stupid. Everybody knows that U.S. aid or Western aid or UN aid comes with stipulations. We all know that's just a cover-up for them stealing more resources from Africa. We're not stupid. That's the thing. There was a time when most people were ignorant. They didn't understand the information. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know why that military base was there. They didn't know why that helicopter landed in the desert down the road. They didn't know any of that stuff. But now everybody knows. Everybody knows when they see a French soldier what they're probably doing. Everybody can now educate each other. The people that do know can now tell the people that don't know. So now that the age of information, black people are becoming aware of their surroundings, what it is that the French been doing. You see, what the Europeans do is they'll come, put a puppet, they'll destabilize your country, then they'll bring their peacekeepers to come and act like they're the police and act like they're the saviors. They create the villain, and then they become the superhero, and they want you to feel thankful that they came and saved you from the villain that they created in the first place. But you see, us black people, we've always been super intelligent. Always. Yes, we've tripped up as of late because the Europeans and their tricks were great. Give credit where credit is due. But those tricks are over now, right? The generation that had to deal with the decades and decades and decades of non-development, of foreign interference in their country, of putting tribes against each other and putting governments against each other and assassinating leaders. You see, all those people who had to grow up and suffer as they became, you know, teenagers, adolescents, young adults, middle age, you see they're now in power now. A lot of these old puppets are getting too old. They can't even function yet. They can't even function no more. 80, 90-year-old Western puppets. That cognitive is not there. Look at America. We got the best we can do is these old geezers that can barely function, right? Look what's happening. These old people, we've been waiting for these guys to die for a very long time because their generation, right? Their Windows 95, that shit don't work no more. All right, they are all Windows 95, and they're corrupt. They got spyware. They got all that shit. But you see, it's a new day. All right, Africa has Windows 12. Going on Windows 13 and 14 and 15. And before you know it, we have our own operating system. You understand? But as African people around the world, when it comes to solidarity, every African country needs to be, every European country and all these think tanks that's sitting around and all these great giant ass buildings trying to figure out how do us white people hold on to power, or at least have some sort of relationship that still benefits us in the Western world through the emerging power of the African continent that's inevitably going to be on the world stage, militarily, economically, socially, and everything. We already got the influence. They need to figure out how the black people going to react. Don't think they didn't do it. What do you think they did with the Japanese and Chinese during World War and II? They know this, huh? So keep in mind, the Africans and the African Americans, African diasporas, we all need to make our voices loud. We need to be in unison. Hey, fuck France. And guess what? America don't like France anyway. You notice how it's an American trained military personnel that did it? Let me tell you something. I was a special operator, all right? I know some shit. Bro. Like, I know some shit. Don't think America, all right? Don't think America didn't help. I'm just saying, hypothetically, allegedly, don't think America in the background didn't start this shit. We got units that do this. I used to be a part of a unit that do shit like this. Undercover. Like, we'll go over there, you know, hey, train you up, give you all the weapons, and you do what you do. As long as our interests are straight, you know, I ain't see nothing. All right, trust me. Because America would absolutely love for the Francophones to be dislodged from Africa so that they can go in and do business and grab those same resources that the French have. Because America, they don't like the French. Britain, they don't like the French. The English-speaking world don't and never did like the French-speaking world in the white world. So they're all for it. So if you're a European American, hell, this is your opportunity to show some solidarity with these black folks. Since you say you're an ally, y'all need to be like, fuck France too. Y'all need to be like, yeah, we watching you too. We see what you doing. Everybody pay attention. Let your voice be known, right? I'm just saying, some of these allies, you really an ally, show us how much of an ally you are, right? Like the Italian, one of the Italian PMs, they're showing us what kind of allies they are, even though Italy as a whole got issues, obviously, because they have to deal with the brunt of the consequences of what France does destabilizing West Africa. They have to deal with that, with all the immigration going through their countries, right? So everybody who don't like France because it's effing up their country, be like, we should all be like, fuck France. If France as a country, supposed first world nation, can't stand on its own without stealing from Africa, they don't deserve to exist. If they can't pull themselves up from their own bootstraps and create economic movement within their country without stealing from Africa, and guess what? They don't deserve to be a world power. It's just like that, because it's a new day. It's time for Africans to be able to take back what belongs to them. All resources, dignity, pride, their countries, the borders, even though they didn't create those borders, but we have them now. And those things should be sovereign and should be left to the continent of Africans to what they want to do with their land, their people, their government, and how they want to run things. We're not stupid. We understand that you put your puppets in there to keep us destabilized. We understand that the European nations put in their yes men so that they can continue to steal our resources as Africans. We know that. You can't lie about it no more, France. And you guys are like, because the France, they're so greedy, right? While all the other European nations been trying to pivot one way or another, even though as a group of Europeans, a lot of them still have not accepted responsibility for the things that they really did. And realistically, they're not going to, because they can't even afford to really accept or give the reparations back to the things that they really stole from us. But they can make a start. They can do something. right? At least they started to try to pivot a little bit. But France, so fucking greedy and fat and gluttonous, now it's coming to the head and everybody fucking hates them, including the French people who hate the French people, okay? So as a black person, if you really black power, if you're really about black excellence, if you really talking about where's our black leaders, who's supporting who, we got a 35-year-old black leader standing up to power right now. We got young African leaders right now standing up to them same European powers right now. The same thing we've been telling Africa to do for years. The same thing African Americans been screaming from the mountaintop. Y'all need to get that black force energy like African Americans and get out there and say, fuck you. That's what kind of energy they got right now. So we need to be supporting that. If not, then shut the fuck up about anything. Because if this is the war now, it's happening now. Okay? The rubber is meeting the road now. This shit has hit the fan now. The hat's in the air. Let's go. So if you black, you need to start supporting your fellow black people in our homeland, and let France, let the rest of Europe know we're not fucking around anymore. It's over. We see you, and there will be consequences. Listen, there will be consequences. What kind of consequences? I don't know. We'll get creative when we have to. But best believe, let these francophone countries know. Let these world powers that still want to take advantage of us, thinking we too fucking nice as taking advantage of our niceness, our kindness, our community, taking advantage of how awesome we are as black people. We're done with that shit. We're done with that shit, and we need to let them know. Anyway, that's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach them. I'm out.